Carole Radziwill reconciled with Bethenny Frankel amid RHONY return. Has Carole Radziwill reconciled with Bethenny Frankel amid the former's RHONY return? Carole will be back for season 16, which is set to begin on September 8th. She had previously exited after season 10. So, are she and the Skinny Girl founder back on good terms? Keep reading for more details. Carole and Bethenny were once best friends. Bethenny Frankel was a RHONY og and stayed on the show until the end of season 3. She then came back in season 7, but Carole Radziwill had already become a fan favorite. The author and Kennedy cousin joined the series in season 5 and immediately became one to watch. By season 8, the two women were incredibly close, with their co-stars often mocking the friendship. Unfortunately, in season 10, they had a falling out. Carole felt that Bethenny was very self-involved and wanted too much. Moreover, Carole had grown close to co-star Tinsley Mortimer and changed up her entire look. Finally, she was in a relationship with Adam Kenworthy, whom Bethenny deemed an operator. Ultimately, the women clashed, and it was a big part of their storyline. They could not reconcile, and Carole exited the show. Now that Carole is returning to RHONY and several years have passed, are they putting the drama behind them? Not at all. An influencer, Meredith Lynch, made a TikTok regarding Bethenny's new supermodel cafe. She pointed out that she is trying to trademark supermodel for a variety of products and added, among the people who liked this video were Carole Radziwill, showing that she still does not care for Bethenny. People have criticized Bethenny's new cafe as overpriced, and they have shared how hard the bagels are. However, they have maintained that the chicken salad is good, which makes sense given that she is obsessed with finding the best. The Bethenny Frankel beef will likely come up again on season 16 of RHONY. The ladies will want to know everything about Carole Radziwill's time on the show. They will also be asking about her friendship with Ghislaine Maxwell, which is extremely taboo. Carole has maintained that she was just an acquaintance, but no one is buying that. There's also the fact that she was married into the Kennedy family, so it will be interesting how much she discloses. At the reunion, Carole will have to answer for a lot. For now, it is clear that she and Bethenny are staying on bad terms. Will you be watching Carole when she returns to RHONY, or are you over her? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Carole Radziwill reconciled with Bethenny Frankel amid RHONY return. Carole Radziwill is officially stepping back into the Real Housewives of New York City universe, and her return is already stirring up questions about one of the franchise's most unforgettable friendships and feuds. After years away from the Bravo reality series, Radziwill is returning for season 16 in a friend of role. The comeback is particularly interesting because her final chapter on the show was heavily shaped by her bitter falling out with former best friend Bethenny Frankel. Now, with Carole back in the RHONY spotlight, fans are wondering, have Carole and Bethenny finally reconciled? And could Bethenny potentially return to the franchise, too? From best friends to bitter rivals, Carole and Bethenny once appeared to be one of RHONY's strongest friendships. Their bond developed after Bethenny returned to the series, and for a time, the two women seemed nearly inseparable. But their relationship eventually changed dramatically. By season 10, tensions between them had become one of the central storylines. What began as disagreements over communication and changing priorities developed into a much more serious personal conflict. Their friendship deteriorated publicly, leaving viewers divided over who was responsible. Carole eventually left the series after season 10 in 2018, while Bethenny departed the following year. For longtime RHONY viewers, their fractured friendship became one of the defining stories of the show's original era. Carole is back, but what about Bethenny? Carole's return is no longer just speculation. Bravo announced that she would appear during season 16 as a friend, making her the first legacy RHONY star confirmed to return following the major cast reboot. Production began in March 2026, with Carole joining returning cast members Cy De Silva, Aaron Litchie, and Jessel Tonk, along with newcomers Erica Hammond, Daisy Toy, and Haley Glassman. That immediately raised another question among fans. If Bravo is willing to bring Carole back, Could the door eventually open for Bethenny? The answer, at least publicly, remains unclear. There is no confirmed announcement that Bethenny Frankel is returning to RHONY, and Carole's comeback should not automatically be interpreted as evidence that the former friends have repaired their relationship. In fact, recent coverage suggests that the Bethenny-Carole feud remains a subject of discussion rather than a definitively resolved chapter. Has Carole actually forgiven Bethenny? This is where the story gets especially complicated. Carole has had years to reflect on her RHONY experience. She has also reconciled with Andy Cohen after their own difficult period following her departure. Her willingness to return suggests that some of the emotional distance surrounding her exit may have softened over time. But reconciling with Bravo does not necessarily mean reconciling with Bethenny. The two women's friendship ended in a very public way, and their season 10 conflict became deeply personal. Even years later, their names continue to be connected whenever discussions about RHONY's most dramatic friendships arise. That makes Carole's return particularly intriguing. Will she talk about Bethenny? Will the show revisit what happened between them? And could Bethenny's name become part of Carole's season 16 storyline? Those questions alone could generate enormous fan interest. Why Bethenny's possible return would be huge. Bethenny remains one of the most recognizable personalities in RHONY history. She was already an established cast member when she returned for season 7, and her presence helped create some of the franchise's most memorable moments. If Bethenny ever returned, Bravo would have the opportunity to revisit several unresolved relationships from the original series. But there is an important distinction between fan speculation and confirmed casting. At this point, Carole's return is official. Bethenny is not. That distinction matters because reality TV rumors can quickly become accepted as fact online, especially when fans desperately want an original cast reunion. A new chapter for Carole. Carole's return also represents something bigger than her relationship with Bethenny. She left RHONY after season 10 and spent years focusing on writing, journalism, and other projects. Her return means she is now walking into a very different version of the franchise. The cast has changed, the show has been rebooted, and Carole herself has changed since viewers last saw her as a full-time housewife. That could allow her to approach old relationships differently. Rather than immediately reopening old wounds, Carole may use her return to explain how she views the past now. And if Bethenny comes up, viewers could finally get a sense of whether there is any possibility of peace between them. Could RHONY bring them together again? A Carole-Bethenny reunion would undoubtedly be one of the biggest nostalgia moments Bravo could create. Imagine the two women sitting down years after their friendship collapsed, discussing what went wrong without the pressure of being full-time housewives. For viewers who watched their friendship grow and then fall apart, such a conversation could provide something the original show never fully delivered: closure. But whether either woman wants that remains unknown. Carole has now demonstrated that she is willing to re-enter the RHONY world. Bethenny, meanwhile, has built a major career outside the franchise and has become increasingly outspoken about reality television and the entertainment industry. So, for now, the idea of a reconciliation remains more intriguing possibility than confirmed reality. The RHONY comeback fans didn't expect. Regardless of what happens with Bethenny, Carole's return gives season 16 an unexpected connection to RHONY's past. Her presence could create a bridge between the original era and the rebooted franchise, giving longtime viewers a familiar face while introducing her to a new generation of Housewives fans. And if Carole addresses her former friendship with Bethenny, the conversation could become one of the season's biggest talking points. For now, there is no confirmed evidence that Carole and Bethenny have fully reconciled, nor is Bethenny confirmed to be returning to RHONY. What is confirmed is that Carole is back, And her history with Bethenny is still one of the most fascinating chapters of her housewife's story. If the cameras capture Carole discussing Bethenny, however, fans will undoubtedly be watching closely. Because after all these years, the question remains, can two former best friends finally make peace? Or is their RHONY feud destined to